Back in the good old days, there was nothing better than coming home from a hard day of elementary school to watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on TV. Back then, the show seemed so real. The monsters were terrifying, and the show felt high stakes at all times. But now, if you give the show a rewatch, you might find that some of the monsters definitely weren't as terrifying as you remember. In fact, most are downright laughable. I'm Whitney Van Lanningham, and this is a list of the cheesiest monsters from everyone's favorite show about teenagers with attitudes. It's Morphin time! Number 1, Frankenstein. Inspired by Mary B. Shelley's novel from 1818, the Frankenstein's monster episode is one of the cheesiest. Rita sends Frankenstein's monster to the Power Rangers costume party. I felt so bad for the monster in this episode. High school dances are awkward for everyone. But luckily, Frankenstein's monster finds a hot babe to boogie with on the dance floor. He tries to kill her, but she just thinks he's trying to dance battle, so she completely slays on the dance floor until he throws her across the room. Skull tries to shoot him in the face with his plunger gun, because the 90s, which enrages the monster into chasing him in bulk. Thinking that the monster might be Tommy in disguise, Billy goes off to look for his friend. He realizes that the monster is definitely not the Green Ranger, so he calls on his Triceratops powers to fight. You gotta hand it to him though. Frankenstein's monster actually puts up a pretty good fight. He almost defeats the Blue Ranger in the cave, until he runs off to go find his friends to help. Even with the gang fully assembled as the Megazord, they still have a hard time taking down Frankenstein's monster and his neck bolt nunchucks. They're only able to defeat him as the Dragon Zord when the monster accidentally impales himself on a spear. Smooth move, dude. Number 2, Sea Monster. Sea Monster is revealed in the last episode of the 3-part Changing of the Zord special. The Rangers have to try to rescue Kimberly from Rita and Zed, which proves no easy feat because the bad guys stole her power coin. This monster is basically just a trenchcoat flasher covered entirely in eyeballs. His superpower is opening up his trench coat to flash the Rangers, but instead of being greeted by his naked dad bod, Sea Monster shoots lasers out of the eyeballs on his torso. Number 3, Brick Bully. I really wish the Another Brick in the Wall episode actually had a little Pink Floyd in it. It might give Brick Bully a little more street cred. But I guess he has all the street cred he needs with all that hood rat graffiti all over his face. Before defeating Brick Bully, the gang has to save the Pink Ranger from being attacked by an army of gorillas led by a skeleton, which totally makes sense. Then Brick Bully comes out and reveals himself to be one of the cheesiest monsters ever. He can shoot fireballs and electric blue flames from behind his bricks and turns all of the Rangers into bricks besides Billy and Catherine. I also kind of got the vibe that Brick Bully is a little bit of a stoner because at one point he gets super excited about going to get some munchies.
I better find me some munchies! Now!
Catherine decides that the logical move for defeating Brick Bully and turning their friends back into people is that she should build a pollution device to cause the bricks to break down. I'm pretty sure that intentionally polluting your friends is a crime, but whatever. The Blue Power Ranger ends up basically starving Brick Bully to death by fighting him long enough to prevent him from eating any more construction supplies with his case of the munchies. He eventually explodes him, as usual, but if somebody killed me before I could get my hands on some snacks, I think I'd be pretty angry. Number 4, Pumpkin Wrapper. Obviously, the best episodes of any TV show are always the Halloween specials, and the Trick or Treat episode of Power Rangers is no exception. Everything about this episode is cheesy as hell. Kimberly gets selected to go on a game show called Trick or Treat, where the only object is to outsmart the incredibly clueless host. The best part is when Kimberly tells the other Rangers that she's gonna be on this show, and they're like, "Trick or Treat is the most popular game show in America!" And it's like, really? You have a Halloween show year-round? Cool. Also, the prize is a brand new car, which is a really irresponsible gift to give a teenager. How are they gonna pay for all the taxes on that convertible? Rita sicks the Pumpkin Wrapper and his team of backup dancers on the Power Rangers, hoping as always to defeat them.
Oh, you Rangers make me mad! Waking me up with a rap that bad!
Pumpkin Wrapper is basically what you get when you cross a Fire mixtape with Donald Trump. He's big, orange, and he'll never be repped by Death Row Records. His rhymes are pretty terrible, but I have to admit, his backup dancers were tight. Pumpkin Wrapper dies in a fiery blast from the power cannon. I'm kinda sad that they didn't let him spit one more rhyme out before he died, but don't worry. Zed and Rita bring him back in the Monster Mash episode with Doomstone and Robogoat. Hashtag squad goals. Number 5, Doomstone. Aside from the fact that this is exactly what I want my name to be when I start my life over as the bassist in a Norwegian black metal band, Doomstone is a pretty sweet opponent. The Monster Mash episode is one of the best because Zed basically forms a cheesy monster trio to take down the White Ranger once and for all. Zed has a team of his cronies disguise themselves as little kids in Power Rangers costumes, which is great because Bulk and Skull convince themselves that the real Power Rangers just know how to shrink themselves and spend the entire episode trying to make a bunch of actual children reveal themselves. How these guys have not been arrested yet, I will never know. Zed resurrects Pumpkin Rapper and calls on Robogoat and Doomstone to help him take down the White Ranger. Even without his morphing powers, he kicks major ass, staving off the bad guys until his friends can get there. Doomstone's fate isn't clear because the ending of the episode focuses more on the Power Rangers taking down Pumpkin Rapper again, so maybe he's still out there somewhere, haunting a graveyard in his bright orange socks. With over 134 villains and monsters, it's hard to narrow down which episode featured the cheesiest one. Let us know which one of these monsters was your favorite to watch growing up, and go like and subscribe!
Be the first one on your block to feel the